All right, let's move on to. I don't believe it. We've been waiting for this moment. This is Atari's first home console, the release of the Atari 2600. At this time, they called it the Video Entertainment System, but the Fairchild was called the Video Entertainment System. So they ended up changing the name a little later to differentiate. But this is it, guys. This is Atari at home. We're going to play the first game, or the release of the first games that ever came out on the Atari 2600. Starting with, looks like they're in alphabetical order, maybe? No, Fun with Numbers is not. But these will be all the releases of the Atari in 1977. This is the biggest moment in Chronologically Gaming. Well, at least for the home, to play these games. This is Fun with Numbers. Is there any even artwork for this? There's the front and the back of the box, and it looks like the very first game that we see that came out for the Atari was a math and adding game. And on this channel, we don't hit on those, so 0 stars for Fun with Numbers. All right, let's move on to another launch title that came out for the Atari 2600. This is Air-Sea Battle. All right, for Atari in the home. Here's some of the artwork. Air-Sea Battle. This has 27 video games. So home consoles we've seen by the Fairchild and by RCA already had multiple games for each cartridge of the way you would play. Atari took that idea and then ran with it. So every one of the arcade game or the Atari games we play in the home are going to have so many different game modes because they're trying to outdo the competition. Starting with this one, looks like we got anti-aircraft, torpedo, Polaris, shooting gallery, bomber, Polaris versus bomber. I'm pretty sure most of the games are pretty similar, but the fact that they say there's 27 games in this, that's amazing. So there's our, I can't really see it as well, but that gives you more examples of how to play the games from the back of the box. There we go. So we got the first 6 games are anti-aircraft, then the next 7 through 12 are torpedo, 13 through 15 are shooting gallery, 16 and 18, 19, 21. So as you go through and push the switch on your Atari, you can switch out which game you're playing. And anything else? There's an example of the cartridge up close. The other thing they did that I love about Atari is the artwork. They got professionals to do the art. It looks great. And there's an example of some screenshots. We have a manual. So this is the Air-Sea, the actual manual. So this is one of the first manuals you've seen for Atari. Air-Sea Battle Game Program Instructions. Note your joystick controller with this program. Be sure the controllers are firmly connected to the console. There is the Atari controller. It is very simple. You hold it, you put your hand on the joystick, and you got one button. And that's it. One button is all you need to play Atari games. It explains scoring, action, or controller action, scoring, and then difficulty. There is switches on the Atari system that we will switch up and down to make changes to the how it's scored and the difficulty. And this shows you how to play the anti-aircraft games. Moving the joystick forward changes the degrees of the ship that you're shooting. And then they probably have one button to shoot. And then these are all the games for anti-aircraft. Or, anti-aircraft. And then these are anti-aircraft shooting with the different points you get for the planes. Oh, this is awesome. I can't believe there's a manual for one of the first games launched on the Atari. And then for torpedo games, these are slightly different. This shows you which controllers, what the controller does for the torpedo games. And then the shooting gallery games, and then how you control the shooting gallery games. Then the Polaris games. Again, they look kind of similar, but they're changing the rules of the game. And then bomber games, playing as one of the bomber planes, and then Polaris versus bomber. So as you can see, we're going through all the games. They just said that there's 27 games, and there are 27 games. So they're explaining in the manual what all the 27 games will do. And then here is most Atari games. The very end of the manual had examples of the guide of how to get there, because you have to push the buttons on the console itself to play the game you want. And that shows you how to do it on the manual. So many options. Again, Atari is the way to go in 1977. To have this was better than anything else we've seen. We got different versions. We have the European version and a 32-in-1 version. So we're going to play Air-Sea Battle. This is September 11th, 1977, when the Atari was released, playing Air-Sea Battle on the Atari 2600. Let's get our controls up here. All right, so this is the beginning. Every time the Atari starts up, they always have something playing, but you're not really playing the game yet. The screen's moving, has something going on. Let's see what happens when we do the options on if we play the first game. So right now it is on the first game. There's a number 1 that's showing we're playing game 1. We have 26 different games to choose from. So if we push game 2, it's telling it automatically switched to the game for us, and then we have 3, game 4, 5, 6, 7. So as I'm pushing the button on the console, you can actually see above me. There's an example of the console. Looks almost like a grill that you'd grill a burger on. And you push the game select, and as we push the game select on the console, it's switching out and giving us all the different options. So we go all the way through, and there's our 26 games, and then it loops back around, or 27 games, and then it loops back to game 1. And then when you're ready to play, then you push reset, which is right there, console reset. So we push reset on the console, and now we're playing, and I am the tank on the left. As you can see, I'm moving my joystick, the Atari joystick up and down, and the tank's moving up and down. And when I want to shoot, boom, I push the only button I have, and I'm shooting. And I can shoot the other plane. And it looks like this one's a 2-player game, so the second player would shoot from their side, the tank that's right next to me. But you aim up and down, and you shoot, and you score, and you make points. And then you're like, okay, cool, that was game 1. Let's do game 2. Really simple. You push game select, and then you reset the console by clicking the switch. And then now, boom, we're playing game 2. So now we have faster planes that go across the side. And still a game needs to be played with 2 people. Atari really hit home on playing with friends and family. Everyone join around the television and play some Atari. So we will not go through all 27 games, but the idea is you had options. You had different options you could play on how you wanted to play. And this is one cartridge. One game by Atari that was released at launch. All right, this is awesome. One of the best games we've seen in the home so far for a launch title especially. Let's give this a rating above average. This one's going to be a 4-star. Actually, let me think of because of what we've seen, we're going to give this one 4.5. This is above and beyond what we've seen, what we could play in the home, and Atari brought us there. Thanks, Atari. So 4.5 stars. All right, so we're going to kick off the rest of the launch titles next time. This is the end of the program for tonight. Thank you so much for joining me. We will catch you next time. Hey, everybody. Thanks for checking out the channel and joining me on my quest to play every single video game in order of release. We'll be streaming live every weekday at 9 p.m. Central, so join us and let me know if there's any games that we missed on the way. You can always check me out on YouTube to see any old videos or any of the archival ones before the live stream. Just tell your friends that there's some crazy guy out there playing every single video game, or trying to, in chronological order. You can look me up on Twitter, on Instagram, and YouTube. Chronologically Gaming is the name to look for. We'll catch you next time.